Hello, everyone. Welcome to 7 Minutes with Plume. And we're really excited to have Susan Rich here with us today. And she's going to talk about her wonderful new book, absolutely fabulous new book, Gallery of Postcards and Maps. And it's a collected poems from her other books and her most recent book within this book, and it's just absolutely terrific. And so I wanted to ask you if you've seen any formal changes or perspective changes in your work over the years.
The change I see the most obviously, and to me is that when I was in my 20s, I worked for Amnesty International, I worked in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and it was and Peace Corps, it was very important that I document. And also my three kind of poet muses when I was starting to write poetry seriously, which was my late 20s, early 30s, were Elizabeth Bishop, Denise Levertov, and Adrienne Rich. So I needed, in some sense, I don't know if I needed, but my perspective was documentary, that I needed to just document who I met, what my daily life was like, the people I saw, and things I imagined, but mostly it had to be rooted in the real. It was super important to me, and I think to the poetry. I slowly began to become more interested in the surreal and the imagination. About 10 years ago, when I was introduced to the work of Leonora Carrington and Remedios Varo and Katie Horna and Leonore Feeney, I got really, really excited that there was this other type of surrealism that had been kept from me in terms of my education. And it was actually an artist, Canadian-American artist, Carol Sawyer, who introduced me to them. And it really did open up a world that I'm still discovering.
That's what's interesting about the connection between you and the surrealist, is that those paintings arrive from the real, yet they're surreal, in terms of the articulation. And the same with Bishop, the same with your poems. And I think that's a very beautiful thing. And so that's what I was noticing about them. I don't know if you would agree. Or
I'm still back in the bubbles that Remedios Varo does, and her work being kind of humorous was really important to me. So it's hard, I'm sure you do know this, to think about your own work and have that distance. And really putting this book together is the first time that it's forcing me to look at kind of that way. But I would say again that, I'm older now, right? My first book came out in 2000. And I think one of the lovely things about getting older is to just not care so much what people think, or carry embarrassment or carry shame or any of it. I think this is the moment for the poem Tired of Being a Woman. And yes, I know that Pablo Neruda has a poem Tired of Being a Man, but this isn't it. Tired of being a woman. As it happens, I am tired of being a woman, exhausted by the bathroom scale, the carnal ins and outs of who did what to who. I am tired of rosehip serums that the persistent cat licks off, tired of chamomile face masks, my forehead iridescent as a lacquered carousel horse. I am tired of my country, tired of my feet, tired of searching for husbands like commuters claim their train cars, one in a dark and empty space, another a little off the rails. Instead, I'd prefer to be a corner store with an echoing bell of welcome, the attainable pleasures, chocolate bars, honeyed challah, yellow tulips in winter. Honestly, I am exhausted from walking home alone, past kneeling lovers, past swans. I don't want to go on paddling towards fascism in the West. I don't want another pizza to watch the fallen B stars on New Year's Eve. I can't go on as a pair of eyeglasses. I cruise the local ice cream parlors, the salons, the table linen restaurants that thrust the scent of sirloin and rum onto the sidewalk, that scarf up the mortgage payment, the safety net, the lifetime of save and save and save. All I want is the frisson that comes from operatic sky, from another stroll at dusk. All I want, my lover's lips on the lower curve of my back. I want the shoreline where sea lions appear and almost wave to me as they warm their flippers in the briny air.
I love that image of the corner store, the welcoming ring, the sense that it's a place and it's a stake in a sense, and not traveling anymore. You know what I mean? Into this other kind of space and residence.
I have a poet friend in Ireland, Geraldine Mills, and she and I have said that each book that comes out, you really the stakes go up. It's like, does anyone really need another book by Susan Rich? And when you're a first-time writer, when that first book comes out, the world is excited to welcome you in some sense because you might be the next whomever. And then by book 5, I feel like you really have to sort of say, I do still have something to say, and I'm not the same poet that was writing about Bosnia and Niger in my 20s, although I stand by those poems. I'm not embarrassed by them, but it's not what I would write today.